Good morning. Hey, welcome to my training this morning about how to create a radical change in your life. This is going to be absolutely eye-opening. Absolutely eye-opening because we're going to get right down to exactly what's going on, that why you're not having a radical change in your life. So, welcome to our training today. My name is Kirk Duncan. You are absolutely going to love this. So, make sure you have a pen and paper ready or get that snapshot part of your phone ready so you can take pictures of my screenshots. But here's the big part is to pay attention to what I'm going to show you here today because I've been coaching for a long time now, and there's a lot of experiences I've been having that I want to bring to the table about what's going on and what's working, what's not working when it comes to us as human beings. So again, welcome to my training here this morning. I love training. I absolutely love this. I have been doing this for quite a while. In fact, 18, 19 years I've been doing this, and I am in it. I am fully immersed in the world of coaching and personal development to make a change. It changed my life so many years ago. I had some incredible coaches, some incredible classes that I attended that absolutely changed my life in a direction I never, ever, ever thought was even possible. And I'm still in it. I just absolutely enjoy it. And I love teaching other people. And I love watching radical change happen in other people's lives. So today, you and I get to have a conversation. It's going to be a short one. Usually, my webinars are about 2 hours long. Today, we're going to have an hour-long webinar. So what you want to do is just kind of lock in, get here, get present, be prepared to take notes of what's going to come to you in this moment, because I'm going to open up a conversation which is going to move your thoughts and which is going to help you see something you have not seen before. And so with that, let's just get started. So what I have in front of you, this is called a screenshot. There's something for you to see. So I'm a very visual learner, so I like to provide visuals about what we're talking about. So I'm going to click through these and show you, not only share with you, but I'm going to show you what we're going to be talking about today. Now, in this conversation here today, we're going to be talking about 4 important parts about creating a radical change. You see, a radical change is actually an equation. It's not something that only certain people can do. It actually has a particular equation to it. And if you do the steps, you too can have a radical change. Now, the question is what is a radical change? Well, you know how you're in a rut or you're doing something and it's the same thing over and over again. And you're like, wow, I really wish I could, uproot and go this way or get out of this rut and go this way. But you notice that you can't. You notice that you can't make that happen. And so you don't want just a small change. You want a radical change, and you want it in a short amount of time. You want something to change now. We're talking like today, within the next 24 hours. You want something to change. Now, I got to tell you, I have received testimonials in just the last couple of days that have blown my mind of radical change, of people taking action on very specific steps that literally shift their life and what's happening in such a short amount of time. And how's that even possible? Well, what makes that even possible is the fact that of understanding really what the challenge is or what the problem is, and then to be able to understand how the system works inside you so you can know exactly where to apply effort. See, if you're just trying a bunch of things, you're kind of like trying to guess what's going to really create that radical change. But when you understand how the system works, and meaning inside you, and you understand where problems really exist, then your effort is not wasted. Your effort is not, just a guess of where to put your effort. It's like, I'm putting effort in the right place for the right thing, for the right change. So that's what I absolutely love about coaching, is to be able to learn it, get into it, and be able to help people in such a specific way. I love this. So as we go through this, I hope you take notes, not only on what I'm saying, but also the ahas that you're going to get during this experience. because that's just what happens. So welcome. Good morning. Good to be with you here this morning. We're going to get into this and so let's just start. So radical change requires a particular series of steps. Now, of course, if you want a radical change, you've got to be thinking about what it is you want to change. What is that thing? What is that part of you? What is that part of your life that you want to change? And it's probably something that's tough or difficult or something you've been working on for a long time, and you've tried so many things, you've read some books, you've been to some classes, you probably hired some coaches, and you're like, oh, nothing's changing. Well, I'm here to tell you that radical change requires a particular set of steps. Now, the first part, though, is to talk about alignment. So let's get into alignment. You are a human being, and you have particular systems inside of you that function in a particular way. And if any part of those functions get knocked out of alignment, you're going to wobble down the road, just like a vehicle and its tires and alignment and the whole steering system. If it's out of alignment, you are literally going to wobble down the road. And when you wobble, you wear out. Wobble equals wear out. So alignment is efficiency. Alignment is everything when it comes to us as human beings. Now, usually it's not at the dinner table where you're like, hey, let's talk about alignment. Or with your friends, it's usually not brought up in conversation. It's like, hey, how's your alignment with your internal functions? No, it's how's the kids? How's the family? How's your work? What are you doing this weekend? It's a lot of that chit chat. But because I am who I am and how I coach, alignment is everything. It's what the first thing I listen for when I'm with a client or somebody that I'm, chatting with, or a fishing buddy. It's like, where are you in your alignment? And I listen for it. And there are a couple different places where I listen to see how well they're in alignment on the inside. Because if you're out of alignment, that's going to throw everything off. And when I say everything, I'm talking like it affects everything in your life, not just one little part of your life, but actually everything in your life, because you are the center of your universe. You're the center of your universe. I mean, everything comes from you. You are the common denominator in everything. So you want to write down, if you're taking notes, you want to write down, I must check my alignment. You must check your alignment. And when I'm talking about alignment, I'm talking about 3 specific areas. I found that in all of the different systems we could check and the functions of those systems, these matter the most. That these 3 are individually in alignment and also collectively in alignment. And as I ask people about where they're going in their life, how is their life, what's going on, I can hear in each one of these categories that there's some out of alignment happening. And so as a coach, what happens is then that I then narrow in on one of these areas or 2 or 3 of these areas, because these are very key in people's lives. These are the 3 key elements. We got to look at these, make sure they're in alignment for you to have a chance at radical change. Because how are you supposed to have radical change when you're wobbling? You just can't do that. It's not going to happen. So right now, as I'm hanging out with you this morning and showing you this is probably what you're missing. Now, there's more to share with you, but this is probably a really big factor about what you're missing. Now, these different functions are inside all of us as a human being. We have the ability to see, right? Like if inside my head, I have this ability to see things or imagine things, imagination or visualization. Imagination, visualization, or I close my eyes and I think about my backyard. That's seeing with my eyes closed. So I have this power or this function to be able to have internal seeing. But if you're not using this or you're not practicing this, this can get out of whack and it can get really scattered and even catastrophic inside your head. If you're not in control of your internal function of seeing, if you're not in control of that, then it's drifting into out of control. And that will throw you out of alignment if you're not practicing the ability to control this. This causes radical change to not happen. You can't have radical change with a distorted seeing function inside your head. You can't. There's no way things are going to line up for you. You're going to work your tail off. You're going to work all week long. You're going to switch jobs. You're going to try all these things. And you're like, what's wrong with me? The first thing that's wrong with you is your seeing function is out of whack. It's distorted. You have to practice the exercise of controlling this part of your mind. If you don't practice the control of this, then it drifts out of control. And what happens to something that's out of control? It sooner or later crashes. It falls off the road. It falls off the path. It runs into something. It crashes. Things that are out of control crash. If it's an airplane and it's out of control, it's going to crash. If it's a vehicle, it's going to crash. If you're on a motorcycle and you're out of control, you're going to crash. You're on a skateboard. You're on a four-wheeler. If you're out of control, you are going to crash. Now, this again is not normal language you have at the kitchen table, during breakfast or dinner or lunch or lunch. It's like, it's not a common conversation because people don't understand how important this is. You want radical change? Then you have to work on this, the internal functions. And then it comes to your language. You have language inside your head. You have this chit chat, this dialogue, this internal voice that talks. That has a tendency to get out of control. It's critical, it's negative, it smack talks people, it tears you down all day long. It's like an internal bully. It's like a built-in bully where it says a bunch of stuff, but then on the outside, you're all nice, you're all polite, you're all like, everything's good. But inside, you got a monster in there, ripping and shredding. It's like ripping and shredding everything. So if you don't have control of that internal voice, you're drifting to out of control. And that out of control function of internal talking is going to cause you to crash. You can't have radical change if you lack control of your internal voice. So you have to do the exercises to practice that strengthening process of taking over, of having internal control of your inner voice. How are you supposed to have radical change if you're out of control in this area? It doesn't happen. These are the reasons why radical change is not happening for you. Even though you're working hard and you're learning a lot out there and you're consuming all kinds of information, you cannot replace internal control with education. Education fills your head up, but these functions are something that's happening every day. It's happening. It's a moving, living process. This is your internal doings. This is what you're doing inside that affects your doing on the outside. This is where doing starts, is on the inside. What are you doing in your seeing function, your imagination and your visualization? What are you doing inside your body when it comes to internal talking? What are you doing? And then there's feeling. Today, it's promoted, whatever you feel is true. No, it's not. I don't know who's coming up with this stuff. Oh, my feelings are my truth. No, your feelings are distorted. You're distorted. If you've not been properly trained and you've been organizing and systemizing and cleaning up your feelings are distorted. You have a lot of childhood trauma, drama, grief, pain. Human beings are really messy when it comes to feelings. They don't have a regular emotional management process they do on a weekly basis. But then yet they trust their feelings so much. But their feelings have not been cleaned up. They've not been organized. They're not in control of their feelings. But yet they trust them every day to make decisions. That's what blows my mind. People trust their feelings to make decisions every day, but yet they haven't spent much time understanding where those feelings come from, which a lot of them are still coming from childhood. So I guess if you're going to have a child run your business, or your child run your marriage, or your child run who you are, I guess if that's how you're going to roll, you're not going to have radical change, because a child doesn't know how to create radical change. So if you're not having a weekly exercise program of how to be in control of your emotions and manage them, your feelings are not going to support a radical change. So these are internal key functions. This is your doings. This is the creation of everything that happens in your life. Comes from what goes on in these three areas. So as a coach, when I'm coaching, I'm looking at this and I'm helping the person figure out what's out of alignment and where do we need to put the effort? Where do we need to put the work? Where do we need to actually work on this? And then I have specific things that I do to be able to help that person. But I need to show you this, that you can see, wow, what am I doing in these three areas? And then are all three of these on the same page? What I mean by that, when I say on the same page, is, okay, what do you want your radical change to be? Oh, that's what you want? Okay, let's go through all three of these. Are your feelings in alignment with that? Is your language in alignment with that? And is your seeing function in alignment with that? And if they're not, then you're going three different directions. Then you're gonna feel scattered. You're gonna feel like you're not on the same page with yourself, which then makes you feel like you're not on the same page with your partners, not on the same page with your children, not on the same page with God, not on the same page with your goals. You're going to feel scattered, fuzzy, lost, confused, low motivation, want to just run away. It makes sense why you feel that way, because those three parts are not together. They're not working together. So there's the individual function of each one of those, but then it's like, hold on a second. Are they even working together? Now, my 19 years of coaching have taught me these matter. This is where it matters. Like, this is a big deal. Like, this is like if I were to take my vehicle into the shop, right? And I'm going to have them check my alignment, check my tires, check my oil, check the transmission. Then my car is going to work better. But where do you go to the shop to get checked? Right? Where do you go? I know it kind of sounds weird, but it's so true. It's like, where do you go to get checked? Get your oil checked, get your alignment checked, get, your transmission, your motor, your fan belts, all the parts to make you so you can function better. That's something to really consider, is who are you going to that's your shop person that is going to check these specific areas. But this has been on my mind for weeks. I'm like, who do I talk to? I want to talk to somebody and lay this out to them, because I want to help people understand that radical change is possible. But if you don't know what's not working, how are you supposed to get to radical change? So radical change can happen for anybody. Anybody, whatever your education is, whatever your business is, whatever your current situation is, you can create radical change. But the first step is you must get those three in alignment. There's no way. You have to at least have one of these in alignment for radical change to begin. But if you had two of them functioning and in alignment, and then if you had three, whoa, it's like shut the front door. Like, this is going to be crazy awesome what's going to happen. But you need to know that it is actually an equation. There's actually things to do to create the radical change. It's not based upon luck. It's not based upon where you live. It's based upon your inner workings. So no matter your education, no matter your bank account, no matter where you're at, your inner workings are affecting your outside of you, your outside of your body. It's influencing all of that. Now, speaking of inside and outside, now I have internal eyes, but I also have external eyes. I have internal language, but I also have external language, meaning I can talk to people, but I also can talk inside my head that nobody can hear. And then I have feelings inside me, and then I have feelings that radiate from me. So there's this inside outside experience that's going on. So inside outside. Now, there's a tendency to focus more on the outside. Oh, I got to help my child. I got to change my child's attitude. My spouse has to be different. I got to clean the house. There's all these things that we see around us. But that usually takes up a lot of our time, is what we see what's going on around us. And because it's all around us, it's what's on our to-do list, are the things that are on the outside. So our attention tends to be on the outside. We spend most of the day working and spending time on outside of our body activities because our eyes are pointed outwards. Now, personal development is, hey, let's look inside. Let's go inside. That kind of freaks people out because they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on inside. I don't know if I want you to look inside. I might be a little messy, right? And it's like, oh, okay, I don't want to look. You know what I'm talking about? And so people don't tend to want somebody to look on their insides. And so they avoid it. They're like, nope, I just want to have a radical change and not change on the inside. So here's the interesting thing. Inside, outside, they balance. Whatever's going on inside you, your outside world is going to balance and match your inside. It's going to balance. It's going to work in that direction to balance to whatever and however you are on the inside. And so it's really interesting to go, okay, so if you don't want to work on your inside, you have no idea where everything's headed. And here's where I'm going to tell you where fear really comes from. Fear comes from, I don't know what's going on inside me, and so my life is unpredictable. And that scares people. The fear of life comes from the fact there's a lack of control on the inside. They don't know where it's going. And so it's going to keep playing out every day. And they're not quite sure what's going to happen because they don't want to look inside. They're scared of the inside of themselves. Fear is an internal issue before it's ever an external issue. Because if you don't feel capable on the outside of you, you won't feel capable. If you don't believe in yourself on the inside, you're not going to know what to do on the outside. So fear is originated on the inside of not knowing what's in you and what is it going to do before it's ever what's out here and what's going to happen. We are amazing creatures and we are super capable of doing a lot of powerful things, and we can adapt. The human being has adapted over the centuries. In every case has adapted. But if you don't know what's going on inside you, then you lack control. And when you lack control, that scares you. Your fears come from the sense of a lack of control of inner self. That's where the fear starts. And then when you look around and you see what's going on in the world, then that fear is multiplied not originated. You need to understand that fear is the origination of fear is by looking inside and not knowing what's going on, and then feeling like an out of control of that you can even do anything about it. And now all these outside experiences are magnifying what's going on inside you. And so your fear that originated inside because of a lack of control and a lack of understanding now is multiplied by 10. And that's why we have so much anxiety, so much fear, so much panic in people, and paralysis by overanalysis. So many people are just like wasting time every day because they don't know what to do. And they just go back and do the same thing they've always done. But fear is originated on the inside because there's an internal evaluation that goes, hey, what's in here? And how can I use this in this outside world? Well, I don't know. I don't want to look. Oh, okay. And so what are we supposed to use? I don't know, but it's just all over the place and it's just got stuff and it's just not together and we're discombobulated and oh crap, we're in trouble. And so your brain goes, oh crap. And then you're walking around with, oh crap, I don't know me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I do this. I'm not sure. I feel like something's broken. Something's wrong with me. And then you look at the world, and if something's wrong with you, and then you look at the world, then that world issues are going to multiply that by 10 or 100. And now you've got anxiety. Now you got panic. Now you got catastrophic thinking. Now you got fear. Now you got worry. Now you're super frustrated because you can't do things because you're not in order. I mean, it originates on the inside. That's where it starts. And that's why it whoops you, is because you think fear is out here. And you keep thinking that if you had $5,000 or $10,000 a month, that your fears would go away. No, money will never erase fear. It'll cover it up, but it's still sitting there. Once your $10,000 is gone, that same fear is still inside you because you know you still lack control and you still don't understand yourself. And so you don't know if you're capable, you don't know what you can do, and you just feel out of sorts on the inside. That's what scares you the most, is that you're a mess on the inside. And you don't know what to do. And you don't have a shop person to say, hey, Kirk, let's talk shop. Let's talk shop. Like, hey, Kirk, can you help me with this and not judge me? Yes, I can help you with this, and I won't judge you. I'm a human mechanic. That's what I do, is I'm a human mechanic, is I'm like, okay, let's look. Oh, we got this. Okay, let's adjust. Okay, let's fine tune. Okay, let's align this. Okay, here's your exercise steps. Let's do this. I'm a human mechanic. Been doing this for 19 years. I put people in alignment. I put them on the path to radical change. We're talking big change, short amount of time. That's what's so cool about this, is that it's doable. You just need to know it's possible. And then give you the components of, like, you need to have somebody to talk shop with. There's somebody who can look inside you and see what's out of alignment and then know exactly what to do to make that happen. So you can have your radical change and then do it again and then do it again. It's like, that's the thing. So you can have that internal strength. You can have that internal alignment that you know inside, you got it. You're put together. Because if inside you're together and you're in alignment, you can tackle and handle anything that comes at you. You can solve this problem. You can be a producer. You can be a super producer. You can create. You can pick a goal, get a goal, because your system is in alignment. Your functions are working. That's what you're looking for. It's what you're really looking for. So when you're in alignment, there's this thing that comes from you. It comes out of you. And every day it comes out of you. Every day your vibe comes out of you. It's a message. You send out a message every day, every second of every day. And that message or that vibe says how you are. Hey, this is how I am. Here's my see, say, feel message for today. That's called your vibe. Or you could call it your attitude or your mood or your energy. But it comes from you every day. You cannot hide what's going on inside. You can't hide it. Everybody's trying to hide. It's like, oh, I'm just going to cover this up. Nobody will notice. It's like, no. Well, there's not very many people paying attention. Like the people are like, okay, I won't talk about your vibe if you don't talk about my vibe. let's just talk about kids. Let's talk about the weather. Oh, let's talk about the government. Let's talk about everything else except our vibe. Because if you talk about my vibe, oh my gosh, you're going to find out I'm a mess. And since I'm a mess and you're a mess, let's don't talk about our mess. Even though my mess is affecting my whole entire life and I have no idea what to do with it. And I got nobody to talk shop with. I don't know what to do. But hey, let's just talk about kids, weather, and the government. Oh, the government. For sure, we got to talk about the world and what they're all doing wrong, except talking about what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, let's don't talk about me. Let's talk about that because there's no way to fix our messes. That's what's going on. And it's so sad. It's so sad that people are silently struggling with something that they can fix. You can fix this. But everybody has a vibe. Everybody's giving off their messages all day long, every day. I'm a human mechanic, so I see the vibe. I hear the vibe. I can interpret the vibe. By sensing the vibe, I know where to fix. I know what to do. But I need to let you know that your vibe tells the story of where you're at. And so if you think you're hiding it and you're getting away with it, you're not. And oh, by the way, your vibe also goes out. It goes out to the world. And then it affects your income. It affects your relationships. It affects your connection to God. It affects your capabilities. If you get the job or not get the job, get the sale or not get the sale. If your kids listen to you and respect you or not. If your spouse and you are connected or not. It's your vibe. It's everything. Everything about your life is being touched by your vibe. And your vibe is coming from your inside. And your vibe's coming from this alignment place. That's where it's coming from. And if you don't think about this and you don't work on this and you don't do this, you're not going to have a radical change. Now, don't worry. Before I'm done here today, I'm going to give you a really big step that can cause a radical change. But it's just going to put you on the path. So hang in there as I unveil this to you, because if you don't understand the problem, you're never going to have a chance of fixing it. So we're talking shop about you. Now, here's the thing, though. You can only see what's above the surface. You can only go so far. There's only so far you can see. And usually it's the surface. Maybe you get a little bit underneath the surface. Maybe you get a little bit down. But all of your reoccurring problems, listen carefully to this. All of your reoccurring problems come from what's under the surface. All of your reoccurring issues that just keep happening, and you know what they are. You try to hide them from everybody else, but you know what keeps happening again and again, and you think, okay, this time I'm not going to have this problem. And sure enough, it happens again. And you're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Well, what's wrong with you is it's below the surface. You can't see it. It's happening inside you. And it's on one of your particular functions because you're weak. You have a weakness in that area. You have a weakness. And so when one of these areas is weak, it causes problems. Now, the reason why it's weak is because you're not doing your exercise to make it strong. So this part of you is weak. And so when it's weak, it's going to have issues and it's going to have problems. But your problems on the surface come from your problems under the surface. You need to know that. So when you're talking to your friend and your friend's like, I don't know what my problem is, you can say, oh, it's underneath your surface. And they're like, what? Yeah, it's not your kids, it's you. You're out of alignment. And your friends can be like, hold on, I thought we don't talk about this stuff. Well, I'm different today. We need to talk about what's wrong. We need to get under the surface. We need to get under here and start doing something because I want radical change. I can't avoid this. I can't ignore this. I want radical change. I need to address where the issue really is, and it's underneath my surface. It's inside, and it's in one of these particular categories because I just learned from Kirk what's going on. I got to get myself in alignment. Where am I weak? Is it in my see, my talk, or my feel? Where is it? Where am I weak? Because that weakness is now throwing me off. And I got to talk to somebody. I need some help. I can't see it because I'm all on the surface and making life all peachy when underneath I'm silently struggling. I got to talk to somebody. Now, here's another way to look at underneath the surface. This is the whole roots and fruits part. This is number 3. This is number 3. The roots and the fruits are what's underneath the surface. Is you got to know that underneath the surface in your head, in your subconscious, on the left-hand side, you see conscious and subconscious. On the left, underneath the surface is your patterns, your programs, and your paradigms. This is what was programmed into you at the ages of 1, the age of 2, the age of 3, the ages of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the ages of 10, 11, 12, 13, sometimes 14, 15. But you were programmed. You took everything in life literal. Even though you're a kid, your brain was in program mode. Program me. So everything you went through for the first 15 years of your life established your program base. Now, this is your programs, the patterns you're going to live, and the paradigms you're going to believe to be true. So your baseline way that your brain works is based on ages 1, 2, 3, up to 14, 15. So you have a child running your life. You have child programs in your head. So when you deal with money, when you're like, oh, I want lots of money, your inner child belief about money and experience with money is what's actually going to run your experience about money. So this is where your money issues come from. Your money issues come from this. Your love and intimacy issues come from this. Your connection issues come from this. Your engagement with life and accomplishing a goals, that all comes from this internal baseline programming that happened between 0 and 15 years old. Even before 0, we're talking like even in the womb, that whole gestation period affected you for the rest of your life. So if you don't upgrade your program, if you don't change the program that you actually believe to be true, you're going to just keep getting the same results. The roots create the fruits. You can't escape it. You can work really hard, but you'll always lose it back to the original program inside your head. Working hard gets you things, but then you go to back off, whoop, there it goes. It's gone. So you don't really change until you change what's in your subconscious, what's going on in your roots. You can't escape it. So do you know how to change the program? You want to write that on your list. I want to talk to somebody about shop. Just want to talk to somebody about my system, my internal, my see, my say, my feel, and how do you change a program? How do you do that? That's what you want to talk about. That's what you want to learn. If that's what controls you, if that's one of the control factors of how things are going to turn out, wouldn't you want to like dive in and watch that more than videos at night and watching TV at night? That's programming you. It's like, like, if you want your life to change, you got to change your program. And those programs are in your see, say, feel. It's all in there. It's all inside. Again, we're pointing to the inside. And again, I'm going to say it's tough to see it. You need to know it's tough to see it. That's why I hire coaches. That's why I go see people, because it's like, okay, I can't see this. Okay, I need help with this. I got this far, but I can't see it. It's underneath the surface. But if you are a do-it-yourselfer, okay, you can only get so far. Just so you know, I've been coaching for 19 years. I hire coaches because I can only see so far. You can only see so far because we're blinded by our own existence. We're blinded by it. We can't see it because we're so in it. We just think it's normal, like everybody's like this. Nope, it's just you. Your programs control your life. And so you want to really consider, who are you going to hire next? Who is it? Who could you go to that could help you? And maybe you got a friend, maybe you got a family member, somebody you've been following, but you want to talk to somebody about shop. It's like, hey, I need someone who understands how this all works. I want specific help so I can have radical change, because there's something I just can't see. But now you can say to people, hey, I think my problem is my patterns, my programs, and my paradigms. Your friend is going to go, what? Yeah, I figured out what my problem is. It's on the inside. It's in my see, say, feel functions. And I think I got in my see, say, feel a pattern, a program, and a paradigm that I got to change. And they're going to be like, where did you get all this language? What are you doing? Yeah, I can't see it because I'm blind to it. And I know it's creating my vibe, and my vibe is touching everything. I got to change my vibe. I got to get inside and change my vibe. I got to do that. I got to get inside, change my vibe, because it's touching everything. And all my see, say, feel is connecting, and it's then producing this vibe. And there's these programs, these paradigms in my see, say, feel that are not sending me the right way. And they're probably between, gestation time to my 15-year-old self. And it's controlling my marriage and my health and my life and the way I see money and my connection to God. And it's what's messing me up, not the world, not even the devil yet. If we're going to throw the devil in this, the devil's not even in your problems yet, because you got self problems first. But then when the devil smells weakness or sees weakness, oh, he pours gasoline on that. He lights you on fire. He's like, oh, you are weak. Oh, we are going to exploit that. The devil doesn't have to give us weaknesses. He exploits what we already have. So you, by not taking care of your weakness and your see, say, feel, by not taking care of that weakness, he senses a wounded soul. And so when he senses a wounded person in their see, say, feel, he gets in there and just blows it up. He just makes it a mess. And he's like, oh, you're weak in this area? We are going to attack you right here because it's weak. So if you want to get the monkey off your back, you want to get the devil out of you, you want to get the devil away from you, you got to get into that particular function and make it strong. That's what you got to do for this radical change. Get the monkey off your back. Get him away from you. But you got to handle the weakness. The function weakness. See, say, feel. Those are the places to look. Those are the places where you got to learn. That's where you got to want to get really skilled in. But just know, under the surface, roots create the fruits. And if you don't like the fruits you're getting, you don't like the results you're getting, it's you that you need to work on. Not your spouse, not your kids, not your boss, not the world, not wait till the country changes. Quit blaming it off on all this other stuff. Because when you blame, you're saying it's not you. And that's such a cheap shot to life. Is for you to blame all this other stuff. It's like, no, quit your blaming. Get inside. Get inside yourself. And maybe you've never gone there before. And you're like, I don't know where to start, Kirk. What do I do? Well, stay connected to me. Get on my YouTube channel. 3 key elements. Get on my YouTube channel. Get watching me. Get following me. Like, hang out with me. Like, let's talk shop, right? Okay. Okay, so this is like, whoa, like, okay, we're like talking about this, like how now this is what all stops you from radical change. Let's talk about what you can do today to create radical change. What can you start? You got to have a starting point. Now, if I did not tell you all this other stuff, if I did not say all this other stuff, you would then think what I'm going to give you next, which is number 4, you would think that you can do number 4 and you're fixed. You're going to think that you're healed. Like, oh my goodness, everything's great. And then in 2 weeks from now, you're gonna be like, okay, why do I still have a problem? How come I'm back to having a problem? And you're gonna think what I taught you on number 4 didn't work. That's what happened. I mean, I've been coaching and teaching seminars for 19 years, right? Like, I've been doing this for a long time. And so I know what happens to the audience. I know what happens to people in this experience. I know what goes on. The people I've taught in my home, the people I've taught at seminars, all this work. Every time I teach people, they're like, oh, just give me the thing to make my life better. Yeah, but I'm gonna open your eyes to the bigger problem. Because if you don't keep working on this, the one thing I'm going to give to you is going to work, but it also then will fade away. Because you'll think you're fixed and then you won't do it again. Or you'll go, wow, there's got to be something else here. Kirk didn't tell me that there's more. I did. Today I did. I told you. Exactly. And I showed you what the issues are. And that's what's beautiful about this, is because when you can talk to somebody who sees the problems, obviously they've got answers of what to do. Okay. So before I show you exactly what to do today, like what your step is today, I want to put this in front of you. I think we should talk. I think we should like have a conversation. Now, if you decide to book an appointment with me, like decide to scan this QR code and hire me to be your coach for one appointment, just one, we're just one appointment. Instead of 1 hour, I'll stretch it to a 90-minute appointment. There's so much more we could get done in that next 30 minutes. But if you book an appointment today, I will stretch that to a 90-minute appointment. Because I'll see your name pop up on my calendar and I'll go there and I will stretch it to be a 90-minute appointment so that we could even do more work in that extra 30 minutes. 30 minutes is big. It is really big. So if you do book an appointment with me today, I'll stretch it to 90 minutes. But it's only if you book from this and you decide, yeah, okay, Kirk, let's talk. Let's talk. And when you do book this, I'm going to email you some prep steps so you're good and ready for the appointment so we don't waste a second. Now, you got to know, though, when we start the appointment, I am like on it. There's not a lot of chit chat, maybe 20 seconds of chit chat. And then I'm like, boom, I'm in. Because this is shop talk. We got to talk about you. We got to talk about what's going on and so I can help you with what's got to happen inside you. So you got a game plan for you specifically what's going on. But if you're like, oh, I need some help, then do this. Love to talk to you. But if you do it today, I would love to spend an extra 30 minutes with you, which would really give us some additional inside look. And I just want you to know, I have worked with people for 19 years. Your stuff you're wrestling with, I don't have time to judge it. I don't have time to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you have this problem. No, my whole system is, let's fix it. Let's fix the problem you're facing that's keeping you from the radical change. Let's like get you in alignment. Let's handle that paradigm. Let's do some inside work. Let's do the root work. That's what you need, is root work. The area you can't see, that you've been trying to dig around and trying to find, but yet nobody's found it yet. You haven't found anybody who can get to the source. And that's my specialty. I can do the root work to help you so you can have that permanent change. What's put you in alignment for radical change. So if you want this, scan it, get it. I'll stretch it to 90 minutes. We'll have a fantastic conversation. Now, sometimes my schedule is booked up. Sometimes it's open. I didn't even look before I got on here today. So I don't know when not newest, but the soonest appointment's available, but just grab the next one available that fits your schedule. Cool? Okay, cool. All right. Okay, let's go to radical change step. Like, what is this? What do I do, Kirk? What do I do? Now, one other thing you might want to consider, is my group coaching course. I don't even know if you know, I have this brand new group coaching course. Super affordable to have coaching every single week. I'll email you all the details, but really like ongoing coaching. And you can watch me coach others and learn through other people. Like super cool. It's super affordable. I mean, just really like I'm on like this wild, crazy mission because it's like we got to get ourselves in order for what's coming in this world, right? We got to get ourselves our life straight. But I'll email you all the details about this, but super powerful. In fact, the appointment we just had on Tuesday with everybody that's on there. Oh, it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. You just got to be there. Be there, watch what happens, listen to what happens as I walk people through their breakthroughs every single week. These breakthroughs are happening. And then if you want to turn, let's talk. But you could have that coaching like every single week. Like we could be like connecting every single week and I could be like teaching you and diving in and showing you could see it happen. You could see how I work with people, how I've been doing this for 19 years. So cool. But I'll send you the details. Okay. Watch for an email. I'll send you all the details, how that whole thing works, and then jump in because it's fantastic. And also if you go in as a couple, there's a discount for like, if you want to do it with you and your partner, you and your spouse, just get in. Might be the thing to do, right? Would love to connect with you at that deep level. Okay. So here's what you do. So okay, now we're talking about your big step, the radical big step you got to take today. Now, I said today, but today's Friday. So today, tomorrow, or Sunday, you got to just pinky swear, like pinky swear to me right now. Let's like just do a little pinky swear. Pinky swear to me right now that what I'm about ready to teach you, you will do by Sunday night. Tell me in the chat. Pinky swear. I got one person in the chat that says pinky swear. I need a few more. So just tell me, pinky swear that what I'm about ready to show you, you will do before Sunday night going to bed. Right, Daniel? Just pinky swear. That because you're going to hear me, but if you're not a doer, what are you doing here? Well, you just think education's going to like make it happen? You think that education is going to save you? No, it's all about doing the work. Okay, so knowing it doesn't create change. It just, okay, you know it. All right. But you got to do it. And then because you know it and do it, you're balanced. So I'm going to give you a step. And if you're going to go, oh, wow, that's amazing, I'll think about that, then you might have just lost your opportunity. So this step, because we're talking about it, because you're conscious and you're seeing how this works and why this is going to be important, you got to take action on it within the next 72 hours. Good? Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk about this for a moment. Okay, so what happens is we as people, I'm going to put you in a container. That's a container. I'm going to put you in a container because you really are in a space. You have your own personal space, and inside your personal space, I'm just going to call it a container. Your personal space is a container. And inside your personal space, you have some good. There's some good. And then there's some more good. And then there's some more good. And then you have some hurt, you have some pain, you have some issues, and then you have some more good, and then you have some irritations, and then we'll put some more good, and then you've got not patient, judgmental, critical, you got some catastrophic thinking in your head, and you got that. There you are. You got your container. So I now ask you, how you doing? And what do? You shuffle everything to the top. You're like, oh, hey, I'm doing good. You shuffle it all to the top. You shuffle this stuff down, and you're like, yeah, I'm totally good, Kirk. Oh, you are? Yeah, doing great. You're doing great? Yep, yep. How's the kids? Oh, fantastic. How's the spouse? It's just amazing. So you shuffle your innards, your innards. You shuffle your energy to be socially well. That's what most people do is they shuffle it so all their good is on the surface. But I'm smarter than that. I know underneath that you got stuff. Now, notice you could add a little bit more good, right? You could add a little bit more good, but then what happens? What happens then is like, oh, and we could squish it in there. Whoops, not like that, but I could squish it in there and put another good. Now you're good. That's it. That's all the room you have. So now you're trying to do good. You're going to go do good now that you have good. You're going to try to go do good, but you're going to think that you are full of good. You're going to think all of your capacity to create radical change is all good because you are full on the top of good. But you got this percentage of other stuff inside you. So when you try to go do something good, let's say you're going to go work on a goal. You're going to be like, oh, I got what it takes to get that goal. I can make that goal happen. Yeah, I got this. And you put a goal out in front of you. We'll put a star out here. And you are under the impression that you have enough of what it takes to get that goal. But if we do a reality check, you're only half. That's it. So when you try to create this radical change, accomplish this goal, do something big, like you try to make something happen, you feel like, oh man, I got all this good because you sorted it and all the good's on the top, but it's assumed that good goes from the ceiling to the floor, but it doesn't. You got this portion inside of you that is rotten. It's stinky. It's old. It's crusty. It's hurt. It's painful. You got this stuff underneath that is just eating away at you. And you have this happening to you. You're all sweet on the surface, but you got stuff underneath the surface, but you've deceived yourself because all your goods on the top, your system assumes everything's good. So that's why you're going to go for this radical change. Like you think I can do this, but then you find out you can't. And when you find out you can't, you're all bummed out. And you're like, how come I can't do this? I really think I could do this. Kirk, I really thought I could do this. But I'm not able to. And this is the self-deception. Is that your good got sorted to the top and it's assumed that it's all good. And so you pick something that's like, I can do this, but then you can't. So we got to change this. We need what's underneath to come out. We need it to come out. We got to clear that space. Because if all of these red blotches were out, You could put other energy, other power. You could have more motivation, more determination, more clarity, more power. But right now you're on half power. That's why you can't create radical change. And because we need to clear this system, we're going to blow the system out of the rotten, painful, hurtful stuff that is just eating a hole in your soul. It's been there for a long time. It's not just last weekend. It's not just the situation that happened yesterday. We're talking your existence. All of these years, you have stuff down here that you have piled underneath and covered it up with a nice layer of frosting on the top. So for you to have a radical change in the next 24 hours, once you do what I'm about ready to show you, for you to have that radical change, you have to blow out the red. You got to get it out. The red splotches, the pains, the hurts, the frustrations, the irritations, the mad, the upsets. You got to get it out of you because you are in self-deception right now. I don't care what you're going to say back to me. You can hide all you want, but you can't hide from me. This is my thing. I know what to look for. I know what to listen for. So what you do, let me just copy, and paste. Okay, so now I got this big picture of you here in this container, and this is you. This is your stuff. This causes change to happen fast. What I'm about ready to show you. So this is the activity. You go to a tree. It's got to be a tree. You find a tree. It could be a little tree, big tree, a tree in the mountains, a tree in the park, a tree in the backyard. Trees can handle you. They have energy that swirls through them to the heavens, and they have energy that swirls through them into the earth. They are a conduit between heaven and earth. They are a moving, living entity that just moves a lot of powerful energy. Now, they're great for cleansing, meaning we got to purge. You get to purge this, get this out of you. So what you do, you go to a tree and you tell the tree what irritates you. Yep, that means you're going to talk about what's underneath the surface. You're going to bring it up and out. You're going to bring it up and speak it out. You're going to bring it up. You're going to have it come out. You're going to bring that up. You haven't brought that one up in a long time. Oh, and you're bringing this one up? Oh, my goodness. And you're going to bring this up. You're going to bring it up. You're going to say it to the tree. You're going to tell the tree all this stuff that's under the surface, what you're bugged about, what you're irritated about, all this stuff that's going on inside you, every person, every issue, all your hurts, your pains, your irritations, and you're going to say it to the tree. Now, what's the tree going to do with it? Well, the tree is, you see the branches, it's going to send it up. You see, the tree has roots. It's going to dissolve it into Mother Earth, Father Heaven, Mother Earth. It's going to dissolve it. It's going to take what you just dished out, all that yucky, gross, old, hurtful energy about the person, your kids, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your neighbors. Maybe you're even going to complain about God, the government, life. You're just going to get it all out. And it's going to send it up, or it's going to dissolve it down, and it's going to go away. The tree knows exactly what to do. Now, the reason why this won't work for you is number one, you won't do it. Number two, you'll discount what I've seen happen in 19 years of teaching people how to do this. It is simple to find a tree. It is simple to walk up to a tree. It is hard to admit you have junk in the trunk. You have hurts. You have pains. You're judgmental. You're critical. You condemn people. You're hard on yourself. You harbor emotions towards people. That's going to be hard, is for you to admit what's under the surface. But if you can see the container on the left, if you can see the container on the left, you can see that we're creating space. You can see that we're creating openness for what? What else could come in there? Well, I can tell you right now, what trees give off is power. What nature gives off is power. And when you create the space and you clear the space in your container, your space around you, when you clear the space, there's a void, there's an emptiness there. And after you're done unloading on the tree and it's now moving and processing all your energy and it's doing its job, which it knows how to do, what comes from the tree and from nature and from the sky and from the ground and from everything around you is pure, clean power. It'll come into you. It'll come in and it will fill you up. Just stand there. Literally, when you're done, when you're done talking to the tree, just stand there. Just hold still and you'll feel it come in. You might even cry. You might even have a tear come out of your eye. You might even have this moment of like, what is going on? And this power that's around you all the time can finally get in you. It finally can get in. There's a power around us that's here to help us. But it's when we are all plugged up with all this other stuff over the years that it takes up our space, and then we're deceived that we have what it takes to create radical change, but we can't. And we're like, what's wrong with me? And I'm showing you the first step of clearing. The first step. Super doable. You can go to a tree. You can walk up to the tree. You can be standing at the tree. You can feel the moment, but you got to open up your mouth and say what you think and feel. All this junk. Admit to it that it's in you, that you think it, and to feel it. And you are talking to the tree and you're telling it what you think and you're telling it what you feel and about this person and about that situation and about this other thing and that other thing and this other thing and this other thing. And you just keep unloading. You unload. You are not going to have radical change until you begin unloading. Because there's no room. There's no room for more power. You want radical change. You're capable of radical change. But what the problem is, you're deceived with what you actually have to use. You're just, it doesn't make sense to your system. Like, we should be able to do this. But it's because you've covered it up with frosting. You've layered it with goodness. You've pretended long enough. You've actually convinced your mind you're all full of goodness. You've actually manipulated your mind that you're good because you've said it over and over again. Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. And you literally have brainwashed yourself that you're good. You haven't told the truth. You've deceived yourself for years. And now that deception makes you feel like, oh, I could do this. I can do that, Kirk. I can make that happen. It's like, well, then why can't you? I don't know. Yeah, because you've deceived yourself. You're not full of goodness. You got some goodness, but you got other stuff in there that's been there for a long time. Now, is there a difference between this picture and this picture? Yeah. A person who's capable, who's going to have something happen within 24 hours, and a person who's going to be frustrated and discouraged and disappointed because they're putting so much effort out and they can't figure out what's wrong because they're so deceived by themselves. Self-deception, self-brainwashing. Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. How's the kids? Oh, great. How's your job? Oh, I love it. No, you don't. You have parts you hate. Your kids drive you nuts. You have fears, you have worries, you have anxieties, you're frustrated, you're irritated, you're bugged, you're bothered, you're sad, you're angry, you're ticked off, you're embarrassed. You feel like crap. But you're not really telling all of that. You're covering it up. And because you cover it up, you lack power to create radical change. The beginning of radical change is having the power to create radical change. And you don't have the power. You don't have the power. You've deceived yourself. So you get to go be with a tree and you get to be honest about how you really are on the inside. Now, notice you are not unloading on the innocent. You are not unloading on a person. Do not unload on a person. They are different from a tree. People take on what you say. When they're not trained, and a lot of people are not trained, people take on what you say. They absorb it when they're not trained. And 9.9 out of 10 people are not trained on how to not take it personal. So even though they're like, oh yeah, it's okay, you can share everything with me, blah, blah, blah. And now you're going to literally hurt this person with all your junk. You're going to feel better. Oh, you'll feel better. And now they're suffering for the rest of their life with your pains. They are not a God. They are not a God. They can't handle your deep, dark pains. They can't handle it. Unload on your kids, you hurt them. Unload on your spouse, you hurt them. Unload on a tree. Unload on a tree. That's a halfway point to a God. A tree is not going to take it personal. It's like, oh, okay, I got that. I'll clean that up. A tree, it's not going to take it personal. No. A person will take it personal. Do not unload your deepest pains on a person. Unload on a tree, and then you can go talk to somebody after you've unloaded on a tree, but don't unload on people. They're innocent. They can't handle it. Kids can't handle it. They can't handle it. After you do the tree, then you talk to a person. You don't unload on a person. Oh, and one other thing to consider about this, if you don't unload this stuff, it starts to multiply. It starts to multiply. So when I say multiply, I'm talking like it multiplies. And as it multiplies, it starts to take over and it pushes out the positive. And as it multiplies and it gets worse and it starts to spread, it pushes out the positive. And now the person, you start to think, oh, there's no way. You start to lose faith. You start to lose belief because you're losing power, because you don't have power in there anymore. And it multiplies. Pain will create more pain. Hurts will create more hurts. It'll multiply. The longer you leave it, the worse it gets. And it pushes out the beliefs. That's why so many people are lacking belief. That's why so many people are lacking trust and lacking faith and lacking because their internal junk is just like spreading. It's like multiplying. Oh my gosh, I've been over for like 20 minutes. Sorry, I get on a kick and I just go. Okay, so let me wrap this up for you. So here's the thing. If you want to create radical change, dump out your container. You have to go rant. This is a rant. You go to the tree, you rant. You say everything that is yucky, everything you don't want to talk about. And when you create that rant and you do that rant and you go there, it's going to create space. It's going to clear out this space, and then the power around you can come in, but just hold still for a moment after you're done. Just stand there for 5 more minutes. Look at the tree, look at the sky, look at the ground. Allow the power to come in. Because you cleared the space and you shifted a radical amount of energy. That's a radical amount of energy. When you shift the energy, you change the course and the cycles of life. Something's going to happen within 24 hours after you do this. I could show you testimonial after testimonial of what has happened to people from the tree experience. That's what you do in the next 72 hours. Clear the space. Sure, go look for something else to do. I know what your challenge is. I know what your problem is. You're stacked up and you're backed up. And when you're stacked up and you're backed up, you don't have the power to create radical change. But you can make it happen. You can do this. And even if you're like, oh, I've heard this before. Have you done the work? Oh, you know it, but you're not doing it? What? Come on, do it. Come on, go do it. You got to do the work. Don't put another book in your head. Do the work. Do what you know. Do it. Good to be with you. Thank you for showing up. Great to be with you. Hey, if you want to talk, scan this, book your appointment. I'll stretch it to 90 minutes. I promise that experience of you and I together is going to be amazing. And also watch for my email. I'll send you details about my group coaching. Love to work with you. It'd be fantastic. Thank you for showing up. I love you. And please get out there, talk to the tree, get her done so that you can start to have your radical change. And if you're like, oh, that's not going to do anything, then close your mouth, go do the work. You don't know if it's going to work or not. Because if you've ever done this before, or if you've done something like this before, or if you're sitting here, you don't know what your problem is. I do. Go do the work. Go talk to the tree. Watch what happens. And watch what happens within 24 hours. It's awesome. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And go book an appointment. Let's talk. Let's talk. All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Have a great Friday. And we'll talk again soon. Okay. See you. Bye.